Hey everybody, my name is Shibby. I'm an esports colorcaster and celestial ranked player in Marvel Rivals, and today we are back with another edition of outrageous Marvel Rivals takes. My last two videos where I did something similar did very well, so I figured why not make this a continuous series that I upload every week or every other week. Specifically in this video, we are only having takes from the Marvel Rivals Twitter community. If you want me to include stuff from Reddit and my own TikTok like I have done in the previous videos, leave a comment down below. I will also now be including in my next video or my next version of this video stuff from my comment sections and my Discord. So if you want to give me takes over there, feel free to leave something in the comment section, join the Discord, send a message there. I will be taking takes from all different sources. So Twitter, Reddit, my own TikTok, my Discord, my YouTube comment section, and I'll be creating more videos like this and answering your questions. So it doesn't have to be an outrageous take, doesn't have to be a hot take or anything like that. It can just be a general question and I'll go ahead and answer it and put it in the next edition of this video. But I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer, so let's get into it. So we are going to start this off with an interesting and pretty hot take here. We've got JMK from the Marvel Rivals Twitter community going, can we please stop using It's Quick Play as an excuse for being bad at the game? Playing like that won't get you better in comp. Let's play the game to get better at the game. Okay, on the surface level, I tend to agree. You should try to play Quick Play as a way to practice the characters you want. But I don't think there's any point in really trying to sweat and play in Quick Play. Like if you want a mode, a mode that where people are going to sweat and people are going to try to win, go play competitive. Just because you choose to take a casual game mode more seriously doesn't mean that the rest of the community has to take that casual game mode as seriously as you, especially when the game developers themselves have created two very different game modes and game types, aka Quick Play and competitive queue. If you want to win, if you want to play the game and you want to sweat, go play competitive. That's what I tell everybody. I always tell them when I play Quick Play, I don't take it that seriously. I don't care. I play what I want. I play Quick Play to like complete challenges, right? I know a lot of people have those missions where you have to play like Namor or you have to play like Scarlet. You get like 4 different characters, right? That's what I use Quick Play for. I also use Quick Play to play with my friends that are like lower ranked than me. And they know what they're getting into. Like I'm not going to super sweat. I'm not going to take it super seriously. I just play to have fun. Sometimes I'll play my main role, tank. Sometimes I'll play support and I'll play DPS. And do I do the best on DPS? No, but I like having the ability to play all the characters in a game without the pressure of letting someone down, right? In a ranked game or losing, points in a ranked game. So I will say this, if you're one of those people that tends to take Quick Play very, very seriously, I would just say save yourself the stress, save yourself the trouble. Just go to competitive. Go play competitive because that's what you want. That's what you're asking for. Quick Play is a place for people to practice mechanics, do what you want. If you want to pick 4 DPS, go ahead. 6 DPS, fine. Who cares, right? 6 tanks, I really don't care. As long as you're not, blatantly trying to like troll your team and you're just playing the game, you're just not playing it the way they want, I think it's completely fine. And honestly, Marvel Rivals does a pretty good job of like making sure and maintaining that Quick Play games still get played out. You can't just leave Quick Play games, which is good, right? I think if you're going to queue up for a game, you're going to queue up for Quick Play, at least see the end of that. Don't ruin other people's experiences. I think that's where I draw the line, where if you're just like sitting in spawn or you're just doing like not actually trying to play the game, that's fine. But if you're like practicing new characters or you want to play something and you already see that like 2 supports and 2 DPS are picked, that doesn't mean you have to go play a tank. Like pick whatever you want. I think people are taking Quick Play way too seriously. Okay, we're gonna look at the new vampire skin for Black Panther. And honestly, I saw a lot of interesting takes. I saw people said that they didn't like this skin for whatever reason. I think this skin looks sick, by the way. Like some people don't like bulky skins, and I get that. I understand that. But like the whole vampire theme with what's happening this season with the Dracula stuff and everything like that. I think his emotes, this is clearly an emote. Yeah, I think this skin looks nice. I don't know why people are complaining about it. I feel like the community, even though they get these like over the top kind of overblown skins, something like this where the shoulder pads look so sick in this skin, right? I feel like the community has been really negative on some of the recent skins that have been released, right? The Storm skin I talked about in my last video or like 2 videos ago. This skin I've seen a lot of hate for, the Black Panther one. I think it looks amazing. I think Black Panther players also getting a new color wave, right? The white on like violet, red, pink is really nice, considering he has that purple one you got from the battle pass. He also has the one where he's like in tribal uniform, where he's like a panther head. It's like a tribal-esque kind of skin, and then he also has that like red skin. It's just like a recolor. I think this is a very good skin. I'm very impressed. I like the fact that Rivals are kind of, how will I say, they're going above and beyond, right? They're not just giving like a random regular skin. They're going like really above and beyond. They're trying to add like cool particle effects. You can tell like they have a very specific vision in mind with a lot of these skins that they've been releasing, and it's very heavy on like colors and particle effects, and trying to make this skin unique and set it apart from everything else, which I really enjoy. They also kind of changed the character a little bit. If you look, Black Panther's ears, I think he has fangs, like, and also his feet, right? Like they're kind of like grown out, like he's infected like from a vampire. I think it's a good skin. I don't know why people are complaining about it. I mean, maybe they would want something else. I am not really sure. And we're going to come in with a pretty spicy topic that's been hitting Marvel Rivals as of recently. And if you haven't been paying attention, a lot of people have been calling for nerfs to Spider-Man, right? This is obviously, this Twitter user goes, the Spider-Man problem, how do you fix Spider-Man, right? It's like the trolley problem. It's like either you nerf Spider-Man and the Spider-Man mains get really mad, all the ones from like bronze up until one above all, or you do nothing in all the strategist mains. It's like Luna Snow and Mantis and stuff like that. They're all like suffering, right? I will say this, Spider-Man being one of, if not the most mechanically demanding champion or hero, I think that you should be aptly rewarded. Not everybody's doing the crazy stuff that you see Spider-Man mains doing, right? Gold Spider-Man players aren't doing those insane rollouts into like the web pull off the ledge and getting that pick. They're not doing that stuff. I promise you they're not doing that stuff. And the fact that you could argue maybe his movement is really OP because he has like animation cancels and he has all this stuff that he's not supposed to do. I can agree with that, right? I don't think he should be getting like these B-hop physics off of his uppercut. I think if you tie his mobility to his web swinging, which is what it should be, by the way, it's a appropriate nerf, but it's more of a bug fix, right? Because I don't think he should be B-hopping and going all that crazy stuff. That's not how he works, right? That's not how Spider-Man movement is supposed to work. But I don't actually think he's overtly overpowered at the moment, right? I think there are a lot of good tools to deal with him. Funnily enough, the supports listed in this one, Luna Snow and Mantis, do a pretty good job of dealing with him. Obviously, he's a little bit harder to track, but like, there's a reason like Spider-Man mains aren't dominating every single lobby, right? I play in Celestial lobbies. I've faced off against Spider-Man mains. Celestial, 1, Celestial 2 Spider-Man mains that are Lord on the character that only play Spider-Man. You can deal with them, even when they do ban Namor and stuff like that. Winter Soldier's available. You've got Thing now that can deal with him, right? If you have a good Thing player, he can jump to you. He can use the Yancey Street charge and just absolutely wreck his movement. As long as you're like being conscious and aware of where Spider-Man is, where he's swinging, if he's behind you, if he's in front of you, as long as the callouts are there, it'll work. Like you can actually counter him and do a good job. Now, I think the Venom team up can be a little bit oppressive, sure, at times, but I think there are definitely enough tools to deal with the Spider-Man main, and you can really shut him out. Even Mr. Fantastic's pretty good, right? If you E onto him, if you use that the bump, you can really mess up his rhythm and his flow of like how he wants to do things. So there are tools. I just think players are not willing to explore them, and support mains and strategy mains are more willing to complain than try to deal with it, right? But there's also, like I said, countering dive, countering Spider-Man. It's also very dependent on some of your teammates and what they're willing to pick, which makes these support mains feel very helpless. I know when I play support, sometimes I feel like I can't do anything if my team doesn't peel. So a little bit more on the skin talk as well. So another skin has been announced or been announced or leaked by Marvel Rivals. It's the Moon Knight Fist of Vengeance skin. Honestly, this skin, I need to see it in model, but this image, it doesn't really do anything for me. Like this skin's actually, I would argue as of right now, looking kind of trash. Again, I need to see the model, maybe the cape physics, see how that works. But this user brings up a good point. The lack of skins for comic book suits is starting to piss me off a bit. Sure, I would love to see some more comic comic book accurate or skins that were featured in comic books, right? We have had some, but they've been recolors. I think Doctor Strange's skin, the blue one he has, is actually a comic book accurate skin, but it's a recolor. But you can go really deep. I think there are some cool comic book skins. I haven't read comics in a decently long time, but there are a lot of different, skins you can pull from very different comic book lines, right? Like, I will say Marvel Rivals does do a good job of getting pretty creative with the skins. We just talked about the Black Panther one. I think the Storm one was really good as well. But you do sometimes get these kind of skins where they release it and it's just like, oh, well, wasn't there like a better roster you could have lifted it from? Wasn't there like another set of skins? Like, I think they did a really good job with the President Loki one. I think President Loki was really sick. I think that's a good skin. And yeah, I think we could definitely maybe open up a little bit more comic book line-esque skins, right? I mean, Spider-Man, obviously one of them. Venom is kind of tough because, like, his are kind of mostly recolors. So I would love it if they just kind of go crazy with that kind of character. But when you talk about, heroes like Iron Man, he's got a ton of different mechs and Iron Man comic book suits that he uses, right? Tons of different suits. Captain America is another one. Bucky. I know we did just get Black Widow, and the free skin that we got, the cowboy one, is from a comic book line. So they do a decent job, but I will say I would never be against more comic book accurate representation, because it also is in like a loop, right? If you give the player that plays this character a comic book accurate suit, and then he likes the suit, he's like, oh, this is a really cool suit. What comic did it debut from? And then he goes and buys that Marvel comic. What's the conversion rate? Probably not insanely high. A lot of these people just play Rivals for Rivals' sake. But I definitely think there is like a precedent, or definitely is a more, I'll say, motivation to include more comic book accurate skin lines and like present them as like legendary or epic skins to potentially gain new comic book readers and fans of those heroes. Because I know Marvel Rivals created a lot of new fans for certain heroes that didn't get as much love as they got prior to them being included in a lot of games. Okay, we have another spicy one, and this is potentially somebody that maybe has or hasn't dealt with what this suggestion does. This individual goes, I genuinely do think the game should add a roll queue. How often is this an issue? Every single game in quick play or even comp is like this. And obviously there's a screenshot down there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like 4 or 5 DPS being locked. This might be a quick play game. This might be a comp game. I think this one is a quick play game specifically. Roll queue, in my mind, I think it severely hampers creativity, specifically for Marvel Rivals. I think devs are really good about making sure that like multiple team ups can work between multiple heroes. I think if you were to add a roll queue, you would limit like potentially them adding a team up that works with like 3 supports or something like that, or 3 DPS, whatever. I think right now a lot of their team ups only include 1 or 2 people, and they're mainly from different heroes. But also roll queue, if we added that, we wouldn't have gotten like the 3 support, 2 tank or 2 DPS, 1 tank meta, or like the 3 DPS meta, right? I like 3 DPS sometimes. I think it can be very good. Obviously, the game is still, I think, the most popular format right now that people play in is 2-2-2 still, if you were to look at like Rivals Tracker and their statistics. But the fact that we have the ability to flex to like 3 supports or 3 DPS or 2 tanks and like all that kind of stuff, I think it's really cool. I also think 3 support, as much as people hate it, I think it enables some characters a lot better, right? Specifically Mantis and Warlock, funnily enough. I think if you have Mantis and Adam Warlock in a 3 support composition, that comp becomes really strong, and those characters get to see playtime where I think in a 2-2-2 meta or a forced 2-2-2, I don't know if Adam Warlock would get to see as much playtime, because Marvel Rivals as a game and as a community, they don't really have the concept of a main support and a off support or a secondary support, right? Like main tank, off tank also isn't like a really big concept. Marvel Rivals just has a ton of main healers, right? Or primary healers. Excluding like someone like Adam Warlock again. I would even maybe consider Rocket Raccoon someone that flexes between both. Like he does get a lot of healing, but his bursts, little balls only do like 200 or something like that. Yeah, I heavily disagree with role queue right now. I think the game is too young. I don't also think there's been a meta that has been like disgustingly dominant. I also think role queue is an admittance of bad balancing from the game dev team. I know MarvelRivals has gone on before and said that we don't have any plans on adding role queue. There isn't anything like that. But all it takes is one really bad meta, right? For Overwatch, it was GOATs that really kind of caused this issue where it was 3 support, 3 tank. We haven't seen something like that just yet. It hasn't reared its ugly head. And I think they've also been doing a good job making sure that maybe it doesn't happen, right? With characters like Wolverine and Iron Fist being more tank shred related. Maybe they'll convert or create more characters that deny tanks, deny that like 3 tank meta. But yeah, I think as of right now, role queue is not worth it. I think there's a lot of creativity. I think the game is fun and it's really, really nice to play whatever you want, whenever you want. And in competitive, like I said, I don't think it's an issue. Like you can run 2-2-2, 1-3-2, 1-2-3, whatever you want. And I think all of it works, right? All of it. I've won with every single kind of those compositions. And I don't personally have a preference for anything because different characters and different players play different things and they should be allowed to slot in wherever they can. Okay, we're going to end off with a pretty funny one and we'll go into a bigger talk here. But this person goes, this needs to be addressed. Casting a spell to put his shield up, Doctor Strange, 0-second cooldown. Captain America moving his hand up and down for his shield is a 1-second cooldown. I agree, man. I don't look. I know Captain America has got a ton of micro buffs from patch to patch to patch, and I think he's like one of the better tanks now in the game. He's definitely moved up in my priority list. But it is really funny that like, yeah, Doctor Strange, this giant shield that like shields everybody that he clearly has to cast like some sort of magical spell for. You can just like keep spamming it, but Captain America getting a 1-second cooldown on his is pretty funny, right? Not that I don't actually think it makes that much of a difference. Like sometimes you can get certain CC in. It is very, very hard to time like your stun or your freeze if you're like a support player or your whatever. Captain America's like shield toggling, right? I do think if they were to make it a 0-second cooldown, it might just make him a little too strong, but it also might give him some cool outplay potential as well, where he can like block certain abilities. If he has like a little bit of charge on his shield, maybe he's down to like 50 HP on his shield, and he's like, okay, I'm going to put my shield down so I can potentially block a big ability. I think I'm in for the movement of give Captain America a 0-second shield cooldown. It might take him over the edge, but honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm okay living in a world where Captain America is good to strong. I think that's fine. I think he's a fun character. I think he's a character that deserves to kind of be maybe a little bit OP or maybe strong, considering he's been one of the flagship kind of characters within the MCU, at least specifically, right? Him and Iron Man for the past like 10, almost 15 years now, maybe even longer. Yeah, I think Captain America, man, like buff the guy. Give him a 0-second cooldown on his shield. Like, why is there a 1-second cooldown anyways? The fact that they just recently gave him the ability to shield while he's jumping just kind of shows like it would just make him smoother and less clunky to play. And I'm okay with that. I like characters that feel fluid and have fluidity. And I'm also maybe a little bit biased. I'm a Vanguard player. But yeah, I think this would be amazing. Hilarious thing to point out. There are some weird stuff here. Obviously, it's for balance purposes. But like, yeah, give Captain America a 0-second shield cooldown, please. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'm going to tell you something you've heard a million times before. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications on my latest uploads. I try and respond to every single comment in my video because I genuinely do appreciate everyone that takes the time out of their busy schedules to leave one, and I love interacting with my community. If you want to catch more longer form content, I stream over on Twitch about 3 to 4 times a week, where you'll get unedited versions of these videos, as well as we talk about roster moves, patch changes, as well as gameplay over there. If you care about the short form side, I post pretty frequently on YouTube Shorts and TikTok, where you'll get more condensed version of this content, as well as highlights from my stream, amongst other things. I'm also on Twitter, and all of this will be in the description box below, as well as a pop-up that will form on the right side where you can catch me on all the different platforms. I genuinely appreciate everyone that stops by on this channel and watches all my videos, and I hope to see you in the next one.